Welcome back. So in this lecture, we're going to start looking at the major players in the social entrepreneurship or social value arena. And one of the major players we're going to look at today is Social Value UK. Social Value UK is a major player in social value. Now, I said earlier, and I'm going to be repeating that every time we come onto this series, I'm going to be telling you that unless you start trading like a social enterprise, you will become irrelevant in the next few years. And that's me telling you that because it's true. A social enterprise is an organization or a business that is focused on making money as well as delivering social value. And what we did last time was to look at what social value meant, what social impact meant, and now we are going to start looking at the major players. And one of the reasons why we need to look at the major players is because the three that I've identified as major players are two international organizations and one UK organization. And I know that you probably have your own other organizations in your country, but these are relevant. And if you can understand these three that I'm going to talk about, then it'll be easier for you to understand the ones operating in your own country. And then you'll be able to decide how you benefit from those key organizations. So let's get into this. Now, I said to you also in the last video, and if you check, you will find the card up there somewhere now. Please do check out the first video and learn about what social value is, what social impact is, and to get you up to speed. I did say to you that when we consider social value, we talked about the social, environmental, and economic key factors. They do overlap. And I talked about the Sustainable Development Goals from the UN. Now, here are the three key players within the social value space. So if you're talking social value, you got to be looking at this. These three organizations. Number one is Social Value UK, which has an international arm to it, or a parent company called Social Value International. Then you've got Global Impact Investment Network, which is GIN. Then you've got the Social Value Portal. This is the way that I want you to consider this social value space. Now, the reason why we want to look at these three separately or individually is because each one of them has a primary niche that they focus on. Okay, some of them are going to tell you they work with everyone, they work with businesses, they work with government, and okay, that's true, but primarily they're focused on a particular type of customer. And if you are within the customer group that falls within their niche, then I would suggest that you do check them out deeply so that you can really learn from them. So one of the reasons why we look at them separately is because they have primary niches. The second thing is that their tenants are different, or I would have to say they are different because of the way they operate and what they choose to focus on. And thirdly, they have their own measuring framework. The way they measure what social value is to them, they use different frameworks to actually do it. So therefore, the way they measure is different. And the things they measure is similar, but the way they do it is what's different. And then finally, I'm going to give you my thoughts on each of the key players. All right, so let's get straight into today's key player, and we're going to look at the Social Value UK. We're going to look at Social Value UK. Now, what niche does Social Value UK serve? In my opinion, and I've been on their website today and I've listened to some of their videos, and I've known about them for a while now because of the study I did. Now, their primary clients are charities, social enterprises, and voluntary organizations. So if you're a charity, you need to start learning and working with Social Value UK, or working with their principles, or learning about their principles, or using their measuring tools, you need to be doing that. If you're a social enterprise, same. If you're a voluntary organization, you need to do the same thing. You need to be working with them, to be learning from them, and you need to be learning the principles that they teach, which I'm going to show you in a moment, from other organizations too, because it's not only them that are teaching those principles. Other organizations, for example, we do that. We teach on social return on investment. We teach on theory of change. We teach on logic model, which they also do as part of their framework. But Social Value UK, if you're thinking, okay, I want to understand this space, what's going on really? Because I'm getting confused. Don't bother, get confused. I'm removing the complexity right now. Social Value UK focuses mainly on charities, social enterprises, and what you might look at as voluntary organizations. Okay? Now, their tenets are 8 principles. They work with these 8 principles. They say, if you are going to use their framework accurately, if you're going to use their social return on investment, that's what SROI is. If you're going to use their social return on investment to measure the impact that you're having with your beneficiaries, then you need to use these 8 principles. So what are the 8 principles? Let's take a look at what those are. Number 1 principle is you need to involve your stakeholders. That's one of the major tenets that they say to you, involve your stake. And there's reason for that. If you involve your stakeholders, you're going to get much more accurate information from your stakeholders, and you're going to be able to use that information that you obtain from your stakeholders to increase the level of impact you are having in their lives. And you're also going to be able to use it to create maybe outcomes that are much more robust, and also outputs that are going to be much more impactful. So your activities will be much more impactful, and the results you will get, which is the outcomes in the lives of your beneficiaries, will also be deeper and be more meaningful to them. In fact, when you follow their principles, and we're going to look at all 8 very briefly, when you follow their principles, you'll be able to deliver better services, and you would be able to deliver them at a much more effective and efficient way. So really, social value does offer a major change in the way that you not only measure, but your processes also will be different if you follow these 8 principles. The second principle is understanding what changes you want to see. What are the changes you want to see? Number 3, what are the only value the things that matter. Don't try and value everything. Don't try and put a financial measurement on everything. No, just value the things that matter. Things that matter to your beneficiaries mostly. And sometimes you may want to value the things that matter to you, but it's more important for you to value what matters to your beneficiaries. And then number 4 says, only include what is material. If something is not significant enough, don't put it in when you do your SROI. And I'm going to explain what that is a little bit more in a moment. Says, number 5, do not overclaim. Don't claim that every impact. Now, when we talk about impact, and I'm probably going to do a glossary of words so that you can understand when I'm using words like output and outcomes and, maybe dead weight and some of the words that we're going to come to later on. Don't have to worry about that now. We'll come to it later on. For example, impact is the changes that takes place in the lives of people that does not depend on just your own contribution. There are many changes that can take place in the life of somebody who has an improved well-being. For example, say they are healthier than they were. You cannot claim that it's only what you did, your little program that you did or project that you did for 3 months is what's made them have a lifestyle that is now healthier. No, there will be other people who contributed to it. Maybe they went on another course whilst they were doing yours, or maybe they went to the gym whilst they were doing yours. Okay, so do not overclaim, because if you overclaim, you will not get a true picture of the impact that you are having. And then number 6 is about being transparent. Number 7 is verify the results. Check out the results. Make sure it's verifiable. Get an independent person to look at what you are claiming to have done and make sure you are doing the right thing. And then it says be responsive. Use the information you have to make valuable changes. So these are the 8 principles or tenets, I would like to call it, that they work on. Now, how does this fit into social return on investment? And what is it, right? Because this word is very synonymous with Social Value UK. Social Value UK always talks about the SROI, which is social return on investment. So what they're saying is, when you deliver social value, there's got to be a way that you can calculate how much it's worth, and in comparison to the investment that you have made in financial terms, or in volunteer time, or in the outputs that you have given, the activities that you have done. What is the value of that compared to the return that you got? So if you have invested maybe £1, are you getting £2 return for every £1 that you have invested in? So that's what social return is. It measures the social value you have received in financial terms, and it does this in relation to the amount of money you invested, or the time you invested. What's the value of that time compared to the return that you got from that time, in terms of the benefits that your stakeholders received? So that's what SROI is trying to do. Now, the principle will take you through a process so if you consider these 8 principles that I mentioned, it's almost like a process that you have to go through, and that will include most probably you conducting what is called a theory of change. And we'll come to that later on when we do an introduction on the theory of change. But the 8 principles is the 8 principles that govern the social return on investment. And the social return on investment is measuring the financial value of the social impact you've had in the activities that you have delivered to your beneficiaries. What benefits did they get? You want to value that in financial terms. So if you want more on Social Value UK, you can go to their website, and their website is socialvalueuk.org. So now, here are my thoughts. I actually think this is a very good organization that you can explore a little bit more. If you're a charity, you definitely want to start working on measuring your social impact, and using SROI is a good way for you to measure your social impact. And we can teach you that. We work on that with organizations. So if you want to learn from us, you can always contact me and we can talk about it. Now, again, if you are a social enterprise, you want to make sure that you are measuring your return on investment, because it's good for your funders and yourself to know that you are delivering good value to your stakeholders. And because you're going to involve your stakeholders from the beginning, they are going to give you good feedback that you can use to actually transform your business. So I think the SROI and the 8 principles that social value pursues is a very good learning process for any charity, social enterprise, or voluntary organization. All right. Thank you so much for watching this video. When we come back, we're now going to look at the GIIN, which is the Global Impact Investment Network, and also the third one, which is the Social Value Portal. both organizations are different, and what they're measuring is different, and how they're measuring it is different. And we're going to talk about that when we come. And that will complete the space amongst the three of those types of organizations. Remember, the first one is the Social Value UK and Social Value International. The second one is the Global Impact Network, Global Impact Investment Network. And the third is Social Value Portal. Those are the key players in the social value space. All right. Thank you so much for staying on and watching this video. Hope you've learned a lot. Please do comment and let me know, how I'm doing, whether you're learning or there's certain things you still want me to discuss a little bit more with you. Do let me know, and we will do that. Thank you so much, and God bless.